guys, welcome back to the groom's room, where the wedding isn't just about the bride, but it's about the groom too. I'm up here in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, stuck in traffic in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, scouting out some first look locations for an upcoming wedding I've got up here in the coming weeks. And I figured, why not do it in a little style?
If you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style?
So I've rented a Jeep from SmokyMountainJeepRentals.com and brought along friend of the show, Matt, who's gonna be behind the camera. And we're gonna look for a spot for this couple and talk about 5 tips on choosing the perfect first look location. Now, if you don't know what a first look is, it's basically a chance to break tradition and see your bride before the ceremony. It's a very sweet moment. It offers great opportunities for photo and for video, but it also makes the day more flexible, makes the day's timeline run more efficiently, and it just allows for your guests and your family to enjoy the reception immediately after your ceremony rather than them having to wait around for you to have more pictures taken. So we're gonna head up to the venue and sort of fan out from there to find the perfect spot for this couple that's not too far from the venue. So come along with us. Number 1, distance. We are here at the very location that I have a wedding at in a few weeks, the Magnolia in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And ideally, this is where you're gonna wanna have your first look. You're gonna wanna have your first look at your venue if possible. Why? Because when you're dealing with a wedding with any sort of timeline, minutes matter. So when thinking about your first look spot, consider how far it is from the venue and how long it will take you to get there. Obviously, if you're getting hitched at a venue that has many options for a lovely backdrop and serene surroundings and lots of privacy, this isn't gonna be an issue. You just walk around the corner and there's your first look location. But if you're like my upcoming clients who are getting married at a relatively small venue with not a lot of options, you're gonna wanna get off site to a nice area with very few distractions. So, best bet, find a spot that is no more than a 10-minute drive from your venue. Your first look shouldn't take more than about 15 minutes to actually occur, but the shorter the distance between your venue and your first look, the better. Number 2, you guys may have found the most perfect spot next to a waterfall or a great place while you were out hiking, but remember, when you guys found those places, you were in loose clothes, you were probably wearing nice shoes, maybe some hiking boots. Your bride is going to be in a dress that may even make sitting uncomfortable, much less climbing over rocks. And your bride has spent months probably picking out the perfect shoes. So if she's in heels, it's not gonna be accessible for her if the area is muddy or really wet, and she's gonna ruin these shoes that she spent so much time obsessing over. But if you and your bride are willing to take a chance and accept the challenge, anything is possible. Little cold. Number 3, noise. One thing that is often overlooked when choosing a first look location is the noise factor. We often think of a first look as a great moment to get some good photos, some good video, but you also have to remember this is a highly emotional moment. This is a very personal moment. You want as few distractions as possible, and one of those distractions can be noise. Road noise, river noise, waterfall noise, people noise, your band warming up at your reception. In this example, we're in a beautiful field. This would be a great place for a first look, but I am about 30 yards from a busy road, as you can see. And when any of those people see a couple dressed in a tux, a bride in a gown, they're gonna honk their horn, they're gonna say congratulations, a fire truck may run by or a police car, and these are all gonna be distractions that's gonna take you guys out of the moment. So if at all possible, find a first look location that is not by a road or is not by a group of people. Motorcyclists. That would be a huge distraction during your first look. Another thing that might be a huge distraction during your first look would be a car accident happening. Number 4, distractions. Remember that your first look is an intimate moment between you and your bride. You want as few distractions as possible. So with that in mind, you don't want to have a bunch of strangers hanging around watching you guys during your first moment. In fact, you really don't want any friends and family mingling around during your first look. So get with your planner and make them be the bad guy. Ask them to have your friends and family get away from the first look area so you guys can have this private moment. Now, in addition to people being a distraction, cars can also be a distraction. Other buildings, signs, flags, power outlets, fire extinguishers, all these things I hate being in my shots. So when you're choosing your first look location, choose a place that has as few visual distractions as possible. But if you do pick a first look location that you absolutely love and there are some distractions, don't be surprised if your photographer and videographer ask you to move to another location so they can do what they call frame out the distractions. So as you can see, this location has more greenery. You don't see the cars, you don't see the parking lot, you don't see the school building behind me. This shot is much better than that shot by using a little creative reframing. Number 5, lighting. So when considering a first look location, a lot of couples will think the woods, they'll think by an open stream, they'll think by an open field like this, and all those locations are fine under certain lighting conditions. So for example, if you want your first look to happen in some woods, that's gonna be perfect as long as there is a lot of tree coverage. If there's just a little bit of tree coverage and it's a sunny day, you're gonna get some spots of sun on your face and some spots of shade on your face, and it's gonna be really hard for your videographer or photographer to get the right settings in their camera. Plus, you might be squinting while you're doing your first look. For a beautiful overlook, this is another great shot, but unless your photographer uses flash, what's gonna happen is the beautiful overlook behind you is gonna be blown out. And for an open field like this, the lighting conditions we have now are actually perfect. There's clouds everywhere. Clouds on your wedding day is a good thing. But if there were no clouds today, it would be extremely bright. You all would be squinting, you'd probably be sweating, you'd be really uncomfortable. So if you're gonna do the open field first look, consider having another option if it's a really sunny day. Another great location for a first look is a waterfall. Waterfalls look great. The lighting down in a canyon is superb. However, if you guys are gonna have a prayer together down there, or you're gonna read letters, or anything that's gonna involve audio, your videographer isn't gonna be able to pick any of that up over the sound of the waterfall, and all that's gonna be lost. All right guys, thanks for watching. I hope these tips helps you and your bride when deciding on where you want to do your first look. But there is one tip I forgot to mention that is the easiest one to follow, and that is forget all the tips I just gave you and just ask your photographer or videographer where they think the first look should be, because they're gonna know what's gonna look the best. They're gonna know the best places for the first look that's gonna look the best with the fewest distractions. Okay, that's it for this episode of The Groom's Room. If you're already married and you did have a first look, let us know down in the comments below what your location was like. And if you chose not to have a first look, give the pros and cons of that decision in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.
You got to, don't do it.